Broadcasting from around the stars, this is Fatherhood News Update. Good evening, our top stories tonight. Pirates attack the Fatherhood. The rise of the GD69 League. And terror comes to the innocent. We start today's broadcast with a high-level security warning. The pirates that have attacked LHS 197 over the last few cycles have stepped up their activities, and we cross now to Central Command for a security briefing from Fleet Command.
Over the last few cycles, the Fatherhood space has been subjected to a wave of cowardly pirate attacks in LHS 197. Our intelligence teams have informed me that these unknown pirates have now been spotted in the Badaba and Carineri star systems. We urge all commanders to ensure they have activated the report crimes against me option within their spacecraft and not to fly shieldless. Your life and your spaceship is not worth a few extra light years or cargo. The Fatherhood security forces have increased their readiness level to level 3, and extra patrols are now in operations. I will take any questions. Yes, the representative from Carineri.
Commander, thank you. The citizens of the movement for Wakawal Free have been the main victims of these pirate attacks, and our sources say that the Fatherhood security forces are not responding to them in time, focusing on ensuring Fatherhood convoys are protected more than anything else. Care to comment on this?
This is not the case. The Fatherhood security forces are putting their lives on the line to combat this threat and protect lives. Lies and slander like this sullies the honor and reputation of our security forces.
But Commander, your own leaked deployment plan states that 84% of your forces within the Carineri are assigned to Untitled Type 9 and Type 7 convoy ships belonging to the Fatherhood. How is this not putting lives at risk?
That document is classified as eyes only, and we are investigating the leak as a high crime action. Next question. Yes, the representative from Badaba.
Commander, it has been reported that these attacks are originating from LP 356-106 and are funded by the Anarchy faction of LP 356-106 Gold Partnership, and the feeling within our system that we need to take offensive action. Why have you not attacked them and kept our children safe, Commander? Does the Fatherhood not care about its own citizens?
First, this is just a rumor, nothing more, and the people of LP 356-106 Gold Partnership have suffered several riots and civil unrest. Due to this misinformation and rumors, the Fatherhood intelligence have reviewed all sources relating to this accusation and have found them baseless.
A follow-up, Commander, to that point. Is the Fatherhood stance on this due to the reported personal involvement of senior commanders within the Fatherhood in the smuggler's haven of LP 356-106, that is controlled by the Gold Partnership? Are you putting personal profits ahead of our children's lives?
Again, this is the type of reporting that puts our brave commanders in danger. Lies, factless and plain false. Next time you ask a question, make sure of your sources and have a sense of integrity. That will be all. Stay safe, commanders.
Now Uchala Roja, a star system that is at the heart of the Fatherhood space, home to 5 billion Fatherhood citizens and strategic installations of Soto Survey, Black Halo finishing and the tourist attraction of Golden Lake View, has been gripped by an ugly and close-fought election between the Native Democratic Progressive Party of Uchala Roja and the Confederacy of the GD69 League over the Cardano Holdings and Hoffman Enterprise. This election was triggered as a defense mechanism by the Progressive Party of Uchala Roja against the hostile takeover bid from the GD69 League that have in recent cycles seen the League increase their presence in Gertrude. Also, this faction's growth outside of its native GD69 star system has taken many factions by surprise. Many analysts put this rapid growth down to their new General Secretary Erasmus Walden, that came to power following a major power struggle. Our reporter Amonga Tame brings us this profile on this secretive new leader.
Erasmus Walden was a simple woman that was known for her charismatic charm and as a friend to the leaders of many factions within GD69 and neighboring star systems. She spoke at the Unification Summit of Natives, The summit that hoped to unite all native factions of GD69 under a single political goal to control GD69 for its native population and not for the factions that she felt have invaded and pillaged their sovereign land.
She came to the wider public's eye a number of cycles ago, when then the General Secretary of the GD69 League, Pana Pohipi, stated in his annual address that he will be seeking a move away from confederacy to democracy. This radical move split the party, and a Cold War within it was reported to be brewing, with a number of elder statesmen and women issuing statements for and against this move. Erasmus Wolfden was one of the loudest voices against this and openly opposed this move, and quickly became the voice of the Confederacy, writing articles and appearing on news shows calling Pohipi a traitor and a puppet of the Fatherhood. This echoed a lot of the feeling of the silent minority that have always felt that the Fatherhood influence for too long has pushed down the expansion plans of the GD69 League. On the eve of civil war, both sides decided that they would meet to try and de-escalate the ever-growing tension. I met with a member of the security force that was present at that event, and he recounted what happened in that meeting that changed the fortunes of the GD69 League.
It all started quite amicably. Erasmus smiled as she walked into the room and joked with her team. She was 100% in control. We did the security sweep of the room and she asked me, "Should you not have done that before I came in?" Once the room was clear, Mr. Pohipi entered the room and started to talk and demand that she stops this call to arms immediately or she will regret it. Erasmus just stared at him as he rambled on, never once moving her gaze from him. I can see that this unnerved him and he asked, "What do you have to say for yourself?" That's when it happened. She handed him a tablet and said, "This is your resignation letter. I wrote it for you. All it needs is your bio-signature." He pushed the tablet across the table and started to say something like, "Who the hell do you think you are?" Before she interrupted, and in a calm tone she simply said, "I have your wife, your kids, and mistress. They are on a dolphin surrounded by 17 FDLs awaiting my command. If I don't make it out of here alive in 30 minutes and give them the stop order, they will execute them." I can see the look of fear in his face, and he could tell she was not bluffing. She handed him the tablet calmly and said, "Now sign it and I will allow you to join them, after you announce me as the new General Secretary." He signed it and asked to leave. She signaled to her aides and reporters entered the room, and as you saw, she stood shoulder to shoulder with him as he announced his resignation and her new presidency. I knew this would not end there, so I left my post fearing for my life and flew and claimed refuge in Manamaya.
The following day Erasmus called an emergency meeting of the League, under the pretense of outlining her new agenda, but the speech turned very quickly, calling the Democratic Movement supporters traitors to the League and displaying the execution order for a number of key figures within the government. She read their names, called them brothers and sisters, and one by one security forces loyal to her would arrest them and escort them away from the meeting. This is when her namesake of Weeping Mother was given to her as she started to cry with every name she read. The meeting ended with Erasmus's mascara running down her face. Holding onto the podium for support, she announced the trial will be conducted the following day, left the stage escorted by her personal bodyguards barely able to walk, the statesmen that had been spared chanting her name in support. Accounts from several individuals that were at the trial describe it as a massacre. The accused were given a sidewinder each, and forced to fight each other to the death with basic lasers, and no shield or life support systems. The winner would be allowed to leave the star system. For hours elder statesmen and officials fought against each other. Many of them died from suffocation or were killed trying to escape, but few of them executed their fellow colleagues, and as they docked and the canopy was open they can be heard shouting allegiance to the League and to her. The winners were placed on the presidential liner and were given a public send-off. Later that day a Planet article stated that the ship suffered a nav malfunction and has crashed into the star at Zephyrus and all souls were lost. With her power growing, the GD69 League are forging ahead into Gertrude and Uchala Roja, utilizing war and election to oust their opponents and increasing their stronghold within the Fatherhood star system. A manga tame for the Fatherhood news.
Finally, the bioterrorist attack struck the Great Masonic Hall of the Boys in NLTT 14879. The hall is the main holy ground of Jet Boys, the native faction of the NLTT 14879. The attack occurred during the final day of the Boys' pilgrimage. Caroline Meyer brings us this emotional report from the site of the attack. And a warning, this report may contain some upsetting details. Viewer discretion is advised.
During this pilgrimage, devout members of the boys recreate the mass exodus to NLTT 14879 and how the other native factions gave them shelter and accepted them as brothers and equals. On the final day, a festival-like atmosphere descends on the Great Masonic Hall, with natives from all factions gather to reaffirm their promise to the boys, and in return the boys re-pledge their everlasting devotion to the star system. However, this year, when the official works was done, with families and honored guests gathered for the evening's entertainment, a number of explosions erupted at the gates of the hall and exits, sealing children and families in the once grand hall. A secondary explosion inside the sealed hall started to release choking gases. People frantically tried to break through the rocks that sealed the exits by hand and any other tools they could find. All the while, screams and cries can be heard from the hall, until eventually hope of reaching the trapped in time faded, and quiet fell behind the ruins of the hall. When the exits were finally open and emergency crew entered the hall, only one survivor was found, and she is now in critical condition.
Why would anyone do this? This was not a political or military meeting. We are not at war with anyone. They call us anarchist. What do you call this? My wife, my children, my friends are all gone. I heard them suffer. My hand bled trying to move the rocks, but it was not enough. I was not enough.
No faction is claiming responsibility, but the Fatherhood Intelligence Branch has said they will support the boys in their investigation and have moved a number of ASP explorers and Vipers to secure the boys, and works on the controversial new military out has been rapidly approved by both governments. Caroline Meyer, reporting for the Fatherhood News.
Thank you, Caroline. That is all from me and the team here at the Fatherhood News team. Remember, don't dream of the stars, fly amongst them. Stay safe, commanders, and good night.